2-3 minutes while others are joining the session. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. Others may join when they are able to join. Okay, so in the last session, okay, people are still joining. All right. So in the last session, we have seen examples of non-exception handling. So anybody is having any questions in what is try block, what is except block, how to catch exceptions? Anybody having any questions in the flow of exception? When the exception occurs in the try block, the control is transferred to which part of your code? Is anybody having any questions with exception handling? Yes, we have also seen 2 3 questions. I have also given you 2 3 questions to practice in the last slot regarding exception handling. Is anybody having any questions regarding exception handling? Yes, is anybody facing any challenges in handling the exception that can occur in the program? I have given you the questions to solve regarding out of memory exception, division by zero exception, you know, out of bound exception. These exceptions we have seen in the previous slot. Previous slot, I have explained with the description of that exceptions. And in the previous slot, we have seen how to implement these exceptions, how to accept or how to catch the exceptions using try and accept block. And what is the flow of the program when you use try and accept block? How can you raise your own customized exception? Anybody is having any questions in that? Do you want more practice programs or shall we move on to the next topic? Okay, all right. So I assume if you are having any challenges, just raise your hand. You can share your screen. I will check, for the errors and help you out. If you are facing any challenges, you can let me know. All right. So the next topic in the sequence is data structures. How the data structures can be implemented by using Python, and what kind of data structures you can implement in Python. So just like any other programming language, Python is capable of implementing any data structure that you wish to, and it can implement all the functions very easily for any data structure. If we begin with the first basic data structure, like say for example, if we begin with stack, then you already might be aware that in stack the operations are always carried from the top of the stack. In the sense, if you have the live example of stack is pile of books, so pile of books is the live example of stack, or you can say your download history, okay, or your browsing history. So always the latest, these are the live examples of stack, you can say. Yeah. So always the topmost thing that you have searched or the most recent thing that you have searched or downloaded is on the top of the list. Okay, in your browsing history or in your download history. Even the pile of the books or the pile of dishes, these are the live examples of real life stack. And there can be only exit and entry from one point in the stack. So you don't have the access to the bottom corner of the books. If you try to pick a book from the last, from the if you try to pick off the first book that you have placed, then it can, just simply the whole pile of books can simply disturb the sequence, right? You can not, accept or you cannot extract the first ever book that you have placed because it is at the bottom of the stack. The books may fall off, if you try to access the first book from your pile of books. In the same way, in the stack, you cannot access the first element that you have added onto your pile of the stack but you can always access the last element that you have recently added onto your stack. So it is actually a LIFO structure. LIFO in the sense it is last in. Whatever you have added at the last point is going to be first out. It is a LIFO, structure. Some people also call it as philo structure. First in, whichever is the first in element is going to be last out. Whatever you wish to say, you can say. LIFO or philo, everything is same, but you have to make sure that whatever you have added at the last can be peaked, it can be popped. You can even retrieve that element. You can see that element. You can get the index of that element. You can even get the element which is added at the last, but not always at the first. That is the implementation of a stack. Like your download history. Example, you're browsing, the browsing history that you are currently seeing in your browser, the pile of books. These are all the examples of stack. Now, if one more example I can give is the undo operation. If you remember, undo operation in the sense, if you go to your Word, go to your MS Word, go to your MS Excel, go to your Paint, go to your any editor, and you can undo the last operation that you have done. You cannot undo the first operation that you have done. If you keep on undoing, you may reach to the first operation that you might have done, but you cannot undo directly the first operation. That you also understand. When you are undoing the things from your Word or from your MS Excel, you can undo the last most operation. You can never undo the first operation that you have done. To reach to that point, you have to simply keep on undoing the things, and it will unroll the stack and it will reach to the first point, but directly you cannot undo the first thing that you have written in your Word or Excel. That is another example of your stack, real life example of your stack. Now, stack can be implemented in Python. Say, for example, I am using list data structure, okay, to implement the operations of a stack. Then, what all operations a stack can perform? So, the functions could be push, okay, the function on the stack could be pop, the function could be peek, okay. Then, you have the functions like check for underflow, or you can even name this function as is underflow, okay. Is underflow is one of the function. Then is overflow means you are trying to add the element beyond the size of the stack. So is overflow is one of the operation over here. If you see your your browsing history, it can remember till a certain point of time, but it cannot remember since the day you have bought your device. Your browsing history cannot remember those many number of days. Okay, there is a limitation of number of operations that could be pushed onto the stack. So history even is having a certain limitation of the number of links or the number of the searching links that you have executed or you have searched online. There is a limitation on that. It cannot go beyond that. So from the day you have bought your device, if you see the history, it will not be able to fetch those many days of history from your device. In the same way, every stack is having a certain limitation, and with that size only it can work. If you add more elements onto it, it can go into overflow condition. If you try to remove all the elements from it, and if you still want to remove it, if the stack is already empty and you want to again remove the element, it is not possible. So it can go into negative out of bound. It can go into negative array size, negative list size, or negative indexing, which is again an exception in Python, which we have seen. The reason stack, queue, data structures are covered after exception is because you should know how to handle exceptions, and if in case if it occurs in the program, if user tries to delete the element which is not possible to delete from the stack henceforth, then you are able to throw the exception, you are able to catch it, you are able to even raise your own customized exception. That is the reason exception is covered before your data structure is coming in the sequence. All right, now these are the operations which you can perform. You can even check whether it is empty or not if you want. Okay, if it is empty, then you cannot go for underflow. If it is full, it is dependent. These functions are dependent on each other. Or if you choose not to implement these two separately, you can simply do it here also. Okay, you can simply choose underflow or overflow, and then whenever user wants to pop the element, you can check whether the deletion is possible or not, whether it is underflow or not. And whenever user wants to push the element onto the stack, you can check whether it is overflow or not. These operations can be easily done by using these functions. There is no need to check is empty and is full separately, but however, if you wish, you can definitely check for it. All right. So far, is anybody having any questions? So far? Yes, so far is anybody having any questions in the stack data structure? You all are sleeping in the class. You all are not answering in the class. It means you are sleeping. Is it like that? Hello, is anybody available in the class? Are you there? Vivek?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Jay is there. All right. Okay. Okay, fine, no worries. Okay, so now the next step is we can implement the stack by using the list data structure. Okay, so what is your task now? You can create the first task for for today is you can create a list of size n. Okay, you can create a list of size n. Okay, you can add or you can simply populate it. Okay, you can simply populate the list with 0. It is okay. You can 0 means there is no element currently onto the list, or you can even populate it with some negative number like this. Okay, so which means that there is no element into the list. Okay, or you can even create a list with predefined numbers. You can even choose to create a list of size n with defined elements. Okay, that is okay. Now, whenever you are having the list in your hand, which all operations or which all functions we are creating today? We are creating these functions. These two are optional. Okay, you can choose to not to create these two, or you can choose to create any two from these four. But what is the use of push function? Push function should take one argument. What should be that argument? The element that you want to add on to your list. So the first function that you can choose to create is your push function, wherein you can pass whatever value the user wants to add on to the list or the stack, and you can add this element. Now, you need to make sure that on the stack, the elements get added at the last most position from the top pointer, in the sense if so in the sense if this is your stack, okay, and this is your first element, then you have a pointer known as top. Initially, when your stack is empty, top is pointing to the record -1, means there is no such element onto the stack. When user wants to push the element onto the stack, no, you can choose to create a list which is empty, no elements. You can choose to create a list with fixed size. I don't mind with that. You can choose to create list with some fixed element also. I even don't mind with that. Okay, whatever type of list you want to create, you can definitely create. Ideally, initially, your top is -1 because there is no element onto the list onto your stack. Now, when the element is pushed onto your stack, you are appending the element onto your stack. So make sure you are not using any other functions apart from simply appending onto your stack. When you use the append function, what happens? Whatever is being added onto your stack will be added from the last most position. Okay, so use the append function. It will automatically append the elements onto your stack, and the stack size will increase accordingly. And whenever you want to pop the element, we can use the pop function very easily. So we already have the pop function in the list, right? You can use the pop function to remove the last most element from the stack which has been added at the last. And what is the use of the peek function? Peek function will simply return the current value, okay? The current value of the top pointer, okay? So what at the top pointer, not of the, okay, at the top pointer, in the sense, what is the value of peek? If you have such elements onto your stack, if you have, say for example, these elements onto your stack and you popped off 30, so your top pointer is currently pointing at 25. If you popped at 25, your top is pointing towards 20. Now if I use peek function, it will return 20. Peek is simply opening the window and checking where is your element, where is your top pointer currently present at. In the sense, in form of list, you can print the element present at length minus 1, because if the length of the list is 3, then length minus 1th element will be the last element of your list. So in peek function, you can choose to implement the current value of the top pointer, in the sense it can show the last most element that you have added on to your stack, or which is present into your stack. And simply overflow and underflow can simply check whether whenever you are pushing the element onto your stack, you need to call is underflow. Okay, you can choose to make this function return a boolean value. Why? Because if it is, sorry, not overflow, not underflow, but overflow, you can choose to call this function overflow whenever you are pushing the element. You cannot simply push it without checking whether the stack is full or not. Okay, so if the stack is full, you can choose to implement is overflow. If the stack is full, element cannot be added further. Simply print the message. And if overflow is returning false, then only you can add the element. Same for pop function also. You can call is underflow over here. You can call the underflow function and check whether there are more elements to be deleted from your stack or not. Like that. Same case in the peek also. Whenever you try to peek the element, but your top is at -1, in the sense there is no such element onto your stack, you can simply print in the peek that there is no such element onto your stack. Are you getting what all operations you can perform with stack? Yes or no? Are you getting the things? Are you getting the logic here? What you need to do? You can implement stack with list. Are you comfortable with this? Are you understanding this? Okay, all right. Then please start your program. Please start your first implementation of stack. Okay. You can also do it with linked list. You can also do it with queue, but we are going to see this later on. Today, we are implementing stack simply with the help of list. Okay. From where did you had issues, Monica? Yeah, I can repeat the thing. Can you tell me from which point you are having issues? Yeah, you can tell me. Okay, the program. All right. Yes. So, what are we going to do? You can create an empty list. You can simply create a blank list, first of all. Okay. The first step is create a blank list. Creating a blank list. Okay, that is okay. Now, we don't need to restrict the size for now, because you already know that list can grow exponentially. You don't need to restrict your list size for now. Okay, you can simply create a blank list. Now you can give user options like, do you want to push the element onto the stack? Do you want to pop the element? Do you want to peek the element? Three options you can give to user. Now this is the menu that you are printing. If user presses 1, he wants to push the element. All right, you want to push the element, so you can call the function push here. Now whenever he wants to add the element onto the stack, he has to also pass in the bracket which element you want to add. Okay, so your push function can have one parameter of element. So whenever you are calling the push function, you are passing that number that you want to add on to your list, or maybe you are passing that string that you want to add on to your list. All right. and whatever it is adding over here, that should be added onto your list. Now, you remember the append function. Append function, do you remember from your list data structure? Yes, you remember the append function, append method of your list data structure. Yes, yes, all right. So append can be used to, yes, append can be used to simply add your element onto your list from the last most position. That is the implementation of a stack. You can only add the element and you can delete the element from one pointer only. That is the top pointer. No need to implement top. Okay. Top is the implementation of a stack. I am simply showing you that top is that, but with a list you don't need to add top also. You can simply choose append and you can append this element onto your list. Before appending, before this step, what we should check, is my stack full? If it is full, I cannot append. So how to check whether the stack is full or not? Predefined function. You are creating your own function. These are not predefined. You are creating your own functions. How do I know that the stack is full? Is overflow. You can create your own personalized function that can return boolean if the stack is not full. How do I know that the stack is not full? What will be the body of the overflow function? What will be its body? The body will be what you can assume. If the total number of elements in the stack, okay, in the sense, what is the length of the list? If the length of the list, if it is less than the number of elements you want to add, then you are good to go here. You can simply return true here because you can add the elements because n is the predefined size. If assume n is 10 and the length of the current list is 5, which is less than n, no, okay, you are good to go. You can add more elements, all right. So overflow is returning true, else you can make it return false, okay. Now, what is happening here? If it is true, then only you are appending, no. So you are calling the overflow function inside the push function. So if is overflow is returning true, in the sense if this is the case, then and then only you can append. Otherwise, you are printing that the stack is full. You cannot add more elements. Getting this much? Getting the push function? What I'm trying to explain. Are you getting this? Yes, yeah. Okay, all right, good. The same is the case with the pop function. What is the meaning of the pop? You can remove or you can pop off the last most element. What do you mean by the last most element in the list? In the list, the last most element will be at list.length. No, whatever is the list's length. Sorry, here it will be length of list. Okay, -1. This is going to be your last most element. All right. You can delete this element, you can remove, you can pop this element from this pop function. But before you do that, again check, is underflow over here? What do you mean by underflow? What is this underflow doing? What is the body of underflow? Underflow will check whether there are elements present in the list or not. Okay, in the sense, if there are elements present in the list, you can delete. Okay, so underflow body, what will this do? It will simply check what is the length of the list. Okay, if the length of the list is 0, it means there are no more elements. Okay, to return false. No, you cannot delete the elements because there are no elements in the list currently. Length of the list is 0, so you cannot delete any further element. Otherwise, you can of course delete. Okay, so you can return here true. Okay, and as soon as it returns true, it means there are more elements into your list. Okay, then you can choose to pop off this element or you can choose to remove this element. Getting it? Getting the logic now? Anybody stuck up with the logic? You can raise your hand, you can talk to me, I will help you out. If you are not having any doubts, you can start implementing your stack with list. If anybody is having any doubts, you can raise your hand, you can unmute and just talk to me. If you are not having any queries, please implement stack with the help of list data structure. anybody facing any issues, you can let me know. I will check and help you out. If you are facing any challenges in understanding, please let me know. I will explain it to you again. All right. So, if you are not having any challenges with the stack implementation, you can leave the session. If you are facing any difficulties, please let me know. We have two classes today. So, 7TC1, TC1, yeah, okay. 7TC2, please mention your numbers first in the chat box. To differentiate both the classes, 7TC2, only students of 7TC2, please mention your numbers in the chat box. If you are having any difficulties, please stay in the session. If anybody is facing any challenges, please stay in the session. Seven TC2 can mention their numbers. 7TC1, please mention 7TC1 at the end of your number. To differentiate both the classes, 7TC1, please mention 7TC1 at the end of your enrollment numbers. Yes. If anybody is facing any challenges, I am here in the session. You can let me know. You can share your screen. If you are having any doubts, please let me know. If you are comfortable with the implementation of stack using linked list, you are good to go. 7TC1, please mention 7TC1 at the end of your enrollment numbers. If you are facing any challenges, please stay in the session. Otherwise, you are good to go. You can mention your numbers in the chat box and you can leave the session.